am live. I am live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am live. Large amounts of excitement here. The air ambulance has gone over. Why, I don't know. Excuse me a minute while I get this. While I get this thing set up so you can see the bench and everything. Hang on. Let's turn this around a minute. Hopefully you can see the bench. You can see the bench. Let's get this so you can see a bit more bench. Hello, one person. Good morning, one person. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Right, that's going to be in the way, isn't it? Too much on my bench. Too much on my bench. Yes, excitement. The air ambulance went over just now. Where it's going, I don't know. Obviously somebody in need of assistance, I suppose. Right, going to paint this truck driver this morning. I've had this since last year, commissioned from a friend of mine. That's me, of course. Just sent you a photo of the Romans. Yeah, lovely. I just sent you a reply. Excellent Romans. They look so good. You've done an excellent job. For 15mm figures, they look absolutely beautiful. Like I've said to people before, 3D figures are definitely the way it's going to go. There's the postman delivering the usual amount of paper tat. Yes, that's the way it's going to go. 3D printed figures for sure, provided they make them affordable. You can make them affordable so you can build up large armies, then you can do it. And also they have to be sort of tough enough. You don't want them brittle and breaking all the time. Good morning, Angkor Wat. I just seen Angkor Wat joined in. Hello, me. Just be going next time I will stay, but must be going. All the best to you all. Yeah, all the best. Have a nice Saturday, Angkor Wat. Thank you for saying hello. My subscriber friend in Germany. No, if you can't stay, you can't stay. You can always watch it later on the rerun. That's fine. I never pillory anybody for not staying. You know, you don't want to watch, you don't want to watch. You got things to do. That's totally accept that. It's real life, isn't it? It's real life. That's the way it is. So we're gonna have a crack at this truck driver anyway. So I'm gonna get some stuffed under the face anyway, because I've had him on the bench sort of too long now. So what I will do is I'll just get the dust off him. Don't want dust in my... Yeah, printing your own is very cheap. Yeah, I can imagine. Flexible rather than brittle. Okay, that's interesting to know. That's interesting to know. Yeah, I can imagine once you've got set up, the initial outlay is quite expensive, but once you've got set up... Why is this brush though tough? There you go. Yes, I can imagine once you've done the initial outlay, it'll be quite reasonable cost. Number two. Hello, number two. Excuse me, I'll drink my coffee a minute. I'm using another palette today, a different palette than I normally use. Hello 4. This is made, I hope I can tip it for without water coming out. I think the downstairs to pick a crop tree, so yeah, for a minute. Okay, that's okay. This is by, I think it's custom made palettes. It's 3D printed from what I can see. It's 3D printed. It comes with 2 sponges to fill the surface area. I think you can just see the line down the center there where the 2 sponges meet. It's quite a nice size palette, quite a good surface area. The only thing with it is, it doesn't come with any paper. You don't get any paper with it. You get the 2 sponges, and obviously you get the lid with it, and you get this curious thing. What the hell that's for, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't hazard a guess. There's no point in putting it under the sponges, because that keeps the sponges off the damp surface. So I don't know what that's for, or whether that's just left over from the printing process. I don't know, but you know, that came with it. But it's great because this stuff must be reasonably breathable, because if you put the lid on it, shut the lid on it tight and put it in the fridge and leave it, you don't get no problem whatsoever with condensation. So I assume this stuff, whatever this stuff is, resin of some kind, I don't know, must be some breathable properties with it. But it's quite a nice palette, I've got to say, despite the fact you don't get any paper with it, which is a little bit of a nuisance. It's yeah, very nice. I haven't checked this out 100% yet, but it looks like they're using, it almost smells like it too. It looks like they're using Spontex sponge, which you can actually get from the hardware store. Spontex sponge, which is what I use in my chocolate box. So we'll crack on with this figure. Where's my, I'm going to give it some Panzer Aces flesh base, this figure. Should use my automatic paint shaker, not my arm. And I gotta get around to putting glass balls, glass beads in these paints. I got them here. I got a whole huge bag of those glass beads. So I really should get around to doing this. I should get my bloody ass in gear. Come on, come on, come on. Shit, can't even pick up a brush now. Can't even pick up a brush. I'm getting so frigging decrepit. That is just purified water. That's all it is. Just I don't want to add tap water to my paint when I'm mixing it. I like to use filtered water. It's got no crap in it. You know what tap water is like. It's just full of all kinds of shite. Excuse me a minute. Here we go. Here we go, folks. NEQ printer. Right, hang on, let me read that again, Angkor Wat. It was very impressive with what excellent results you get out of it, but it is the price and the preparation work which gets me still worrying. Yes, yes, it's like a lot of these things. It's the initial outlay, which you need to be able to afford the initial outlay, don't you? It's like it's like buying these starter armies you get, like warlord starter armies. The initial outlay is quite a lot for them, but if you actually work it out, it is a good way of buying figures. It's a cheap way of buying figures. If you work it out compared to the individual boxes, it's just, do you have the money for that initial outlay? That's the thing, isn't it? But I'm sure that's the way wargaming will go, you know. It'll all be .3D printed figures, I'm sure. Yeah, very nice figure. Very nice figure, this. Panzer Ace's flesh base is a lovely colour to work with for doing faces and skin tones. It's beautiful. Lovely, lovely. I value my printer as much as being able to print buildings and scenery. Yeah, I can imagine once you get one of these machines, you would get a lot of use out of it and you would be very attached to it, I'm sure. It's like I'm very attached to my shortwave radios because I get so much use out of them. Despite the fact conditions are bloody awful at the moment, I get a lot of use out of them, and you do get attached to things, don't you? Get a little bit behind the neck. Oh, sugar. A little bit around the neck there. And a little bit behind the ears. Yeah, quite nice. The eyes, as you can see, the eyes there are very big at the moment. Very big eyes, very wide eyes, but that needn't concern us for now. That makes no difference for now. We can deal. We will deal with that presently. That problem. But that's quite nice. That's turned out quite nice. A little bit on the chin there, perhaps. Beautiful weather here today, I have to say. Beautiful weather indeed. And what I'll do later is I will stick on my VHF radio, because I'll probably, this type of weather conditions, I'll probably pick up the French Coast Guard, which is always interesting to hear the traffic going about. I like a bit of marine band. It's not bad listening, actually. And to do it, you don't need a lot of expensive equipment to do it. It's easily done. You would get a lot of traffic. Up in Plymouth, Ralph, you'd get a lot of traffic, marine traffic. I know you would because I've been up there and done it. I used to live up there. Used to live in Plymouth. And I had a radio and yeah, very good, very good. Tell you where I used to live, Ralph, up in Plymouth, and that's Camel's Head. If you know where that's, you will know where that's to, I'm sure. No, I'm saying, Ralph, I was going to put, probably later on this afternoon, I'll put my VHF radio on and I'll hear a lot of marine band because I'm right on the coast. You would get a lot of reception in Plymouth for marine band. See, obviously Plymouth being a port, so you would get a lot of traffic on a marine band radio if you was to listen. Well, I know you would because I used to live in, like I was just saying, I used to live in Plymouth and I had a marine band radio when I was there and it was very busy with marine band traffic, which is fun to listen to. I like listening to marine band. Yes, I used to live in Camel's Head in Plymouth. What was that about big sets? I do love big sets. I bought a couple of those Prussians, 132 at first, a kind of smashing down price. Hang on, don't disappear on me. $56 to $70. Multi-pose possibilities. That sounds a very good deal for those figures, 132 figures. That sounds very good. Sugar. Well, Airfix say their figures are 132, but as I've showed you with comparison to 135, there's hardly any difference. So I don't really think they're 132 figures. They're World War II range. I think they're more 135. But I'm not complaining because they go together nicely with the cute figures. So I'm not complaining. And I like that size of figure, I gotta say. But the only problem is if you're gaming with that size of figure, you need a reasonably big surface area to do anything sort of on a big scale with that size of figure. Which I can understand is why people use 15mm and stuff like that. I can understand why they use the smaller scales. But it's, you know, it's horses for courses. Yeah. Might have used a bit bigger brush for doing this job. But we will see. We will see how it turns out. Keeping my eye here on the comments. How's the, I'll ask you, Ralph, how's the, drone going? That's what I meant to say. Couldn't think of what it was then. How's the drone going? The drone flying. How's that going? Are you a proficient pilot yet? I wouldn't know where to start flying one of them things. I have thought about Kreml. He was on the Kreml ferry. About to go in from the cabin. Yeah, it's quite enjoyable. It's quite enjoyable. It's obviously depends where you live, but it can be quite enjoyable because they're still using traditional communications, and they're not using digital stuff, which is rather good. So you can sit and listen in. And you get as well as naval stuff. You get, or at least I do around here, I get fishing boats and sort of like little pleasure cruisers and yachts and stuff you get going around, particularly this time of year. Then you get the lifeboat and stuff. You can get the Sennen Cove lifeboat when that's out. You get that. So it's a fun thing to do, and you can just put the radio on autopilot and just leave it whirl around, which is good. Or I can go down to shortwave marine band, and I can listen to Coast Guard from all over the place, because shortwave travels better than VHF. Best one I had was the Coast Guard in Newfoundland, St. John's in Newfoundland, which was quite good. And you hear him giving out all the iceberg warnings and stuff, which was rather interesting. It was quite fun. So yeah, it's fun. I don't mind a bit of airband either, actually. That can be quite good. Particularly around here, I live very close to an aerodrome. A couple of aerodromes, actually. There's one at Land's End Aerodrome, which you can pick up. And also the main naval aerodrome here. You can listen to stuff from that, and pilots going over and stuff. And gliders is another one you pick up. People flying gliders over the coast and stuff. It's all fun. It's all fun. Right, what I propose to do now. Do I think I should give this shirt what was that? What was that you were saying? MP Funk. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what you can pick up. It's amazing what you can pick up on radio. It's not. Do anyone remember the song by Chris de Burgh? No. Never been into Chris de Burgh, I have to say. Is he still around, Chris de Burgh? Is he still around? Of course, that's going back, isn't it? Chris de Burgh. Right, let me get a bit bigger brush here a minute. Let's have a look. What have we got here? Because I think what I'm going to do, that's not much bigger than that, is it? Give me a decent brush here. I think what I'm going to do, what's this like if it's wet? A lot of brushes, can't find a decent one. Oh, what's this like? Battery low, 15% remaining. Okay, let me just get this. Excuse me a second, folks. Right, excuse me a second. I have to plug into the mains or I will disappear on you. Right, here we go. Right, excuse me a second. I have to turn around. Right, there you go. The tissue a minute. What was we saying? Where are we to? What was we saying? Right, what was we saying here? Now I gave her the band shoulders. What was that? I haven't been out this week and finding the sun too strong and also trying to avoid the half-dim clouds. Next week I have somewhere in mind to take the drone for a flight. Yeah, the sun, I got to tell you, the sun is very strong. I totally agree with you. And I'm not a great lover of bright light, I have to say. It doesn't do my eyes a lot of favors. Let's have a brush here. Give me a decent brush, for God's sakes. Looks like it'll have to be that one. So I'm not fumbling around for a brush all morning. I'm not fumbling around for a brush all morning. And what have we got over here? What we got over here? What's that? Don't do this to me. Oil from my shredder. That doesn't look too bad. Now we'll settle for that. Let's get the gum arabic out of it. Not a great brush by any means, but we'll give that shirt another coat of military green. It's looking a bit thin. So we'll whack another coat of military green on it a minute, and then we'll go back to the face on this figure. Army Vallejo military green 975. So we'll whack a bit of that on it. Yeah, I can imagine drone flying is quite fun. I have thought about buying one in the past. To rig some samples to me, what was that? The comments keep disappearing. I fiddle around so I can get them back. Why they don't stay up, I don't know. My enemy, and De Burr, still alive, and his most notorious song that Eddie read is best. A spaceman came travelling. Frank's Miniatures, good morning. Good morning, Frank. Hope you're well. Although it is here already an hour later than in the UK. You're an hour ahead of us. Ah. You're quite close to the UK, Frank, in the Netherlands, but you're still an hour ahead of us. Yeah. Not that it really makes a huge amount of difference, I suppose. Hope you're well and enjoying Saturday, whatever you're planning to do. Yeah, this is quite a nice figure by Tamaya. I will be interested to see how it looks in my friend's truck. Well, it's not a truck, it's a digger he's putting it in. So I will be well interested to see the end result. But we'll get another load of green on it. The reason I'm doing this is because, well, not only because I want to get it done for my pal at the other end of the block, but with the miniatures we've been working on, the civilians and the British Airborne medics, the next job is to drill out the feet and put bits of wire in and put them on these corks ready for priming. And I thought if I did that this morning, that's a relatively boring job. Ah, shit. I thought that's a relatively boring job. I'll do something a bit more with it. So I decided to kill two birds with one stone and work on this commission I've got. But he's going to look nice. He's going to look a nice figure. Probably the biggest figure that I've done. Yeah, very nice indeed. This brush is quite good actually. A British brush. Which is good. Yeah, so that's my plan for later, is to fire up the VHF receiver, get that going. Right, that's most of it. I'll just go, can't really see it I know because of the light, but I'll go up around the edges of the sleeves and stuff now and get that sorted out, and then we can go back to the face. So my favourite tea shop in town has now closed its doors forever, which is a great shame. A great shame. But there you go, such is life, I suppose. Another business gone to the wall, as many of them do. Right, let's just go around the edges of the sleeves here a minute. So I won't be having tea in there again. Which is a pity. Right, I think you need to go down there a bit, Karen. I think you need to go down there a bit. Excuse me if I go a bit silent on occasion. I just concentrating a little bit on what I'm doing here. Tell you what I watched the other evening for the second time. For another run, and that's the film Ivanhoe with Robert Taylor. Very enjoyable film. Very good performance by Guy Rolfe as King John, I have to say. Very nice film. Enjoyed it very much. He did sort of a trilogy of those type of films. Knights of the Round Table. Also, The Adventures of Quentin Durward. Which I enjoy very much. Which is a very difficult movie to get on DVD, I have to tell you. I had to send to Spain to get it. The only place I could seem to get it was Spain. Really? I've not seen that. Tell me, who's in that? Any idea who's in that? Can you remember? I do believe Roger Moore did something as Ivanhoe, didn't he, at one point? Or should I say Sir Roger Moore? Yeah, not seen the TV Ivanhoe. I might look for that. I gotta say, I do like Robert Taylor. He's excellent. Died too young. Died too young. Yeah, Roger Moore, yeah. There you go, that is better. Although you can't see it, I know. Can you see it without the light on? No, I can't really see it. But take it from me. That's better. Much better finish on that now. What we will do now is we'll go back to the face. The first thing I'm going to do with this business is I might add a bit more pale sand to the eyes. Where's my pale sand? Never do the eyes in pure white. Never do the eyes in pure white. They're too stark. They're too much. So I use Vallejo pale sand. That does you ideally. So we'll whack a bit of pale sand on those eyes again. They could do with another go with the pale sand. Let's get a bit of water here. If you use straight white on eyes, it'll be too scary, too jumping out at you. It's amazing how many people can't paint faces. They can paint whether you can see that or not. Yeah, you can see them. They can paint lovely miniatures, beautifully painted. Can't paint faces for toffee, and it lets down the finished miniature. Right, I'll leave that dry a minute. So what we can do is we'll go with some flat earth. And we'll paint the trousers brown on this guy. Whilst we leave those eyes dry a minute. Right, let's get some flat earth on his trousers. Probably be the first coat. I'm going to have to go and get a drink in a minute. As per usual with this business, I'm starting to lose my voice a bit. I have numerous problems all the time with my voice going. Yes, going to have to give this 2 coats, but that's no problem. So, the BBC version of Ivanhoe was 1996 and starred Stephen Warrington, James Cosmo, Christopher Lee. Come on. Christopher Lee Hines, Sarah Phillips, Victoria Surfeit, Susan Lynch, and others. Wow. I might look out for that. If it's out on DVD, as it obviously is, I'll see if I can pick up a copy. That sounds like worthwhile watching. I'm always interested in DVDs to watch. Not that I haven't got enough, but I mean, the more the merrier. We'll all be indoors before long and need to. When that nuclear power station goes up in Ukraine, there'll be fallout everywhere. And we'll all be stuck indoors trying to avoid the fallout if it blows this way. I hope you've... Yes, it's going to need several coats of this colour on these. Where was that? Come on. Give me that comment again. For example, if psychologists always need to hide a serial killer and can't get title, but it's very frightening. Well, yeah, he did do a lot of different stuff, Roger Moore. Very fine actor, sugar. A very fine actor, Roger Moore. Very fine actor indeed. I can't say, to be honest with you, I can't say I've seen anything with Roger Moore in it that I said, oh, that was crap or that was rubbish. It's always of a very good standard, whatever he did. Very talented gentleman. But I suppose you could say they're talented. That's why they are where they are. What I'll do is I'll just whack this collar around the trousers. And then I'll go around the edges with a bit smaller brush. Looking straight in the eyes for the next movie. Yeah, very good guy. Another guy I like very much to watch is Kirk Douglas. He is very good. I got quite a few Kirk Douglas movies here. Very nice guy. But there's so many you could talk of which were, very, very good actors. Lee Van Cleef, Clint Eastwood, John Wayne. I mean, all these people were very good. Eli Wallach, that's another one. I like him very much. Eli Wallach. Right, there's the trousers with some brown on. I've got it around the edges now. Go around the edges, get that sorted out. Then we can go back to the face on this. Good morning, number 4. Whoever you are. It's amazing. I find what's amazing is I find more people tend to watch this on the rerun than actually live. Which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. Totally up to the individual. Freedom of choice. That's what it's about, folks. Freedom of choice. Which I have to say these days is getting less and less freedom of choice. Well, he's got a belt on, so we have to be mindful of that. He's got a belt on. Right, go around the bottom of the legs now. Let's have a bit more water here. I'm going to have to go and get drink in a minute. Haven't really. What's that? Archie and Harriet Burt Lancaster, which is kind of my favourite, both in their older years, prison and must find how to get managed in the modern world of the 80s. Great. Burt Lancaster, yeah, he was very good, wasn't he? Burt Lancaster, Birdman of Alcatraz and all them things. Again, a very talented guy. Somebody's just come in the lobby. Yeah, I don't know what colour I'm going to do the shoes on this guy. I've not really decided yet. Tell you what I have decided. Gonna have to go and get a drink in a minute. Gabbing all the time sure dries your mouth out. Bit like gabbing for the monkey when I do the monkey. That dries your mouth out. But he's fine, he's good fun. It's a strange thing. With ventriloquism, it's a strange thing. That you there you go. You get so far down the road with it, ventriloquism, and it's like you get into autopilot, because when you start out with this, with the mannequin, whatever puppet or mannequin you use, when you start out with this, where's me black? You're having to think all the time. It's going to be just a second. I've got to go and get a drink a second, and I'll explain something about ventriloquism, which is quite interesting. I will be just 2 shakes. Right, here we go. Here we go. Right. Oh, hang on just a second. Here we go. So what we'll do a second is we'll just let that paint dry out for a second because it's wet. So this, as you know, or as you may not know if you're new, is my friend Ely Folkmanis. Isn't that right? Yeah. You're called Ely Folkmanis. Yeah. Right. How are you? Good. You happy? Yeah. You like it here? Yeah. Is that all you say? Yeah. Yeah. You don't say anything else? Oh, I could do. You could do. Yeah. Okay. So I want you to tell everybody, explain to everybody what happened in the, we went in the health food store. I couldn't think then. We went in the health food store the other day, didn't we? Yeah. You was talking to the lady, weren't you? Yeah. What happened in the health food store? The Muppets are on telly. Are you a Muppet? What's that? What's the Muppets? It was a puppet show. Oh, I've never seen it. You never seen the Muppets? No. I'll show you the Muppets sometime. Okay, Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy. Oh, okay. So we was in the health food store, and you tell everybody what happened at the health food store. I can't enter. You can remember. You can remember what you did in the health food store, because we have to go back to and apologise. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I used bad language. See, he used bad language in the health food store. Because what happens is, you start out doing ventriloquism. I have to work for both of us, right? Because there's only, will you sit up a bit? That's all right. There's only about 6 letters you have a problem with in ventriloquism. If you can get the mechanics of that in your head, that is no problem at all. It's an easy thing to do. You've got it pretty much now, haven't you? Yeah. Your speech is pretty good, isn't it now? Yeah. You finding it quite easy? Well, it's just because I practice every day. Yeah, that's what you've got to do, isn't it? Practice. Yeah. I don't mind. You don't mind? No. See, it's quite easy, quite straightforward. So you start off, I'm thinking what I'm going to say, then I'm having to think what he's going to say, then I'm having to think, also concentrate on getting the mechanics of the thing right, so the words sort of sound right. So you do that. Then you get a bit further down the road, and it gets a bit easier. So you get a bit further down the road, and you're concentrating on the mechanics and stuff, and it starts getting easier. So you reach a point, you get so far down the road where you've got the mechanics of it now, but you still possibly have to think about what your friend is going to say. So you're practicing, you get further down the road. So you get so far down the road, you don't have to think about the mechanics at all, that you've got them. And you don't have to really think about what he's going to say. And it's really becoming natural now, which is great. And you keep practicing, you keep going at it, and you get so far down the road, there's like a line drawn on the road, right? Because you've gone so far down this road now with your buddy that if you cross that line, and I would love to talk to other ventriloquists to see how they feel about this, but if you cross that line, you go into what I call autopilot. And once you're into autopilot, it's a strange thing. And if you were a ventriloquist out there, you would know what I mean probably. But once you go into autopilot, you're not necessarily in control of him. Because before you step over that line, although it's very automatic and very natural now because you've practiced so much, you're sort of still in charge, if that makes sense. But you cross that line, and you can cross that line without realizing you've crossed it, then you're not in control. He's now got to the point now where he's as close to being a real entity as he can possibly be. And it's a very strange thing. It's almost possibly like a Ouija board works. Whenever you've tried a Ouija board, it works, but you don't know why it works. And it's like that. You get so far with this, and you cross that line, and you're into autopilot territory. And he's his own guy now. And in some cases, that can be a bit dodgy territory, because if he's left to his own devices, you don't necessarily know what he's going to come out with or what he's going to say. And as it was in the health food store the other day, what was we buying in the health food store the other day? Cookies. Yeah, cookies. We went in there for cookies, didn't we? Yeah. Because somebody's got a soft spot for cookies. A particular brand of cookie. So we had cookies on the counter. Who's going to pay for them? You was in my rucksack, weren't you? Yeah. In a clear plastic bag wrapped up so you wouldn't get dirty. Yeah. I pulled him out because my purse was underneath. So I pulled him out, and the lady behind the counter said, "Oh, that's your new doll." Like, because she knew I had this monkey, but she'd never seen him. And I said, "Yeah." So I took him out, put him on my hand, and he's chattering now. You were chattering, yeah. And what did I say to you? Do you want some cookies? Yeah. Have you got any money? No. You ain't got no money? No. You know what my dad said to me? You pays your money and you takes your choice. If you ain't got no money, you ain't got no choice. So you haven't got any money? No. Oh, you can't have no cookies then. Why? Because you have to pay for them, and you ain't got no money, so you can't have no cookies. See? And I said, it's okay, I'll treat you. It's no problem, I'll treat you. Didn't I? I said I would treat you for the cookies. Yeah. You paid for the cookies? Yeah, I did pay for the cookies, you're right. Yeah. You got lots of money? Well, I wish, yeah. If I had lots of money, I'd buy us a big house, okay? Yeah. Where'd you buy us a house to? In the country somewhere. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So I said, I'll treat you for the cookies. So I'm explaining to the lady behind the counter a lot of what I explained to you about the mechanics and stuff, and you did your alphabet, didn't you? Yeah, because he can say the alphabet. Because you're quite educated, aren't you, really? Yeah. So he did the alphabet, and I was saying, you can put these characters, whatever character you got, you can put them in any situation you like, and do whatever you like. It's no problem. Because it's all a bit of fun. So I grabbed his ear, and I pretended to twist his ear. Didn't I pretend to twist your ear? Yeah. And I'm going like that, and he's going, like that, see, I'm tweaking his ear. And I said, you see what I mean? You can put them in any situation. And that, for me, what I just said was the end of it. That's it. And I was going to wait for her to reply. That, for me, was the end of it. But like that. I said, and I stopped talking, and um, he went into autopilot without me realizing it. He just flipped into autopilot. And what did you say? Hey, that hurt, you bastard! In the middle of a shop. And I had no intention of saying anything like that, or it never even entered my mind to say that. But that's what happens when you get so far down the road. Monkey business. Well, that's what happens when you get so far down the road with ventriloquism. It becomes so automated, and so it's almost like your puppet doll, dummy, mannequin, whatever you want to call it, can have a life of its own. And you can go across that line, and for that moment in that shop, I wasn't in control. He was in control. It's a very strange thing. And we have to go back now, don't we? Yeah. We have to go back and apologize because you was naughty. Yeah. So we will do that. We will go back and apologize to the lady behind the counter because it was out of order, wasn't it? What? Did I keep saying what? It was out of order. What's that mean? Out of order means you shouldn't have used bad language in the cookie shop, did you? No. I'm sorry. It's out of order. Please forgive me. I won't do it again, okay? I hope you don't do it again. No. If you do it again, we won't be able to go in there and buy any more cookies. So that's an interesting experience with ventriloquism. And I never thought I would get that far down the road with it. It's very interesting. And I never have to practice this. I don't say, oh, I haven't practiced today, or I need to practice with the monkey today, or whatever. It doesn't work like that. I watch movies in the evening to unwind. I watch movies and DVDs in the evening. No life of its own. Well, he has a life of its own. It's the thing, you see. I'll be watching movies and DVDs in the evening, and he'll be there. And he'll comment on the movies and stuff. I'll say, I don't like that, or look who's here now. He say, oh, bad guys and stuff. And for some curious reason, and we was only talking about this last night, wasn't we? I think you're insecure. Huh? I think you're insecure. What's that mean? Insecure. Almost like a bit like afraid, scared, so forth. Don't like being on your own. She was hugging my finger, or you hug my finger when we watch movies, don't you? You have to hug my finger. Yeah. Why do you have to hug my finger all the time, Eddie? Because it's comforting. It's nice. It's secure. There, see, he must be insecure little capuchin monkey. So he sits there in the armchair, and he's has to be like that. You see my finger there. He's happy now. He's like that. He's happy now, aren't you? Yeah. That's how far you get down the road with ventriloquism. You'd never believe you would when you start out. But it's, you're a good guy, aren't you? Yeah. You're going to behave yourself from now on? Oh, yeah. Can you let go my finger? Hi. Are you going back to Newcastle after a time ago? Newcastle? Never been to Newcastle. Have we? What? You ever been to Newcastle? No. I'd I go to Newcastle? I don't know. I wouldn't go there either, actually. Can you let go my finger? Hi. I have things to do, that's all. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's okay. I know you're... a bit insecure, that's all. Yeah, I can't help it. No, I know, I didn't say you could help it. No. You had a rough time where you were living, didn't you? Yeah, I got evicted. Why did they throw you out? I don't know. They took me on eBay. Oh, no. That was where I found you, wasn't it? On eBay. Yeah. They sold me for a handful of silver. Bloody Judas. You shouldn't say this. You're using bad language again. I'm sorry. I don't blame you, really. And I suppose to a degree, Ely, I can't really be too hard on you for swearing in the health food store, because I was provoking you a bit, twisting your ear, wasn't I? Yeah. Don't twist my ears, it's naughty. I'm sorry. That's okay. See? See? And it's just a bit of fun. It's just a bit of fun. And see, the name of the game now, don't keep doing that. You got fleas or something? No? You got lice again, have you? No? You see, my attitude now is, outside in the real world, have you been working there in the year 2005 for 3 months? Job in a call centre, lend me a tap. Ah, you work in a call centre. That's an admirable job, working in a call centre. Hello, number 5. See, what I was going to say was, before we get back to the painting, out there in the real world is shit, right? It's all going to pot. It's all falling to bits. You only have to look around you to see what's happening. We're all on a slope like that, hurtling down towards the bottom. And on the bottom is a great manure heap, which we're all going to end up in, right? So the object of the game now, whichever way you do it, it doesn't matter, but the object of the game now is to have as much fun as you can, for as long as you can, while you can. That's the name of the game. Because we're all going to wind up at the shit heap at the bottom before too long, probably sooner than later. And sure as eggs, one thing we are going to all end up is dead. So you've got to enjoy life now. So if it means flying your drone, Ralph, or me playing with the monkey, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, isn't it? Yeah. So can you get off my hand now? Hi. Because I need to get back to the painting, okay? Okay. So you know what procedure is for this, don't you? Yeah. I've got to take my hand away, right? Yeah. So can you jump on my palm of my hand? Okay. Yeah, nice. Well, I'll see you later, and we'll watch a movie and have tea with honey and cookies and stuff, okay? Okay, sounds nice. So jump on my hand? Yeah, okay. Okay, get going. Put yourself forward a bit. Come on, that's it. That's a bit more. Okay. After 3? Yeah. You got anything you want to say quickly? Yeah. Good day, Daddy. It's been nice talking to you. See you in here. Okay, after 3? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. There you go. There you go, buddy. He's great fun, I tell you, he's great fun. Right, so we get back to the faces now on this, or the face on this driver. But it's amazing. It's amazing with them things. How you get involved, how you can get involved with it, and it becomes so automatic, so automated. He's as close as he can get to a real entity. It's very bizarre, but great fun, great fun. Great fun. So let's go with, we did flesh base on the figure. So what I'll do is I'll put this round again. Oh, excuse me, not lemonade. It's actually tonic water because it's got quinine in it, which helps stop the cramps in my legs. There's tonic water. So we will now go with medium flesh tone on this figure, on all the high points of the... No, I'll tell you what we'll do first. I'll tell you what we'll do first on it. Where's my black? We'll put in the eyes. We'll put in the center of the eyes. So we'll use black for that. You could use dark brown for that, or very dark blue for that job. It's just the Bird Show. The Ely Folkmanis show, yeah. But you could use dark blue, you know, dark brown, black, whatever you fancy on this. I'm using black for this job. The technique, call this technique of painting eyes slash and dash technique. Don't worry about the eyes being far too big at the moment. That doesn't make any difference at all for this job. Doesn't make any difference at all. So all you gotta do, let's wash this brush out a minute. Let's get rid of the dirty paint on this brush. Before we do this job. Yeah, there's only about 6 letters you'll have a problem with in ventriloquism. And if you can get them, you've cracked it. You've cracked it. So all I'm doing with this figure is just doing a dash down the center of each eye. If you make a mistake or faux pas with it, don't worry about it, just let it dry. Paint over it with some pale sand again, or whatever eye color you use, and start again. That's all you gotta do. There you go. I don't know whether you can see this or not. Now you probably can't see that, it's probably too dark. But I will be making a proper video on this, how to paint faces. Once I start, you know, painting these airborne and these civilians, I will be doing a proper video on face painting, because I think it's worth doing. I think it's worth doing. So we'll let that dry for a second. Then we will sort out the eyes properly. Because what we will do is we'll take some of our flesh base that we used, and we will use Vallejo 825 German Sea Pale Brown, and we will mix some of that with our flesh base and darken it down a bit, and that's what we will use to narrow down the eyes on this figure, and we will get these eyes looking normal sized. I gotta say, I very much enjoy painting faces. For me, it's the fun bit of the entire figure. Painting the face is what gives the figure its character and its sort of life, if you like. Yeah, particularly on, people say they do, I don't know, brown eyes, and they put a black dot in the center of it, and all this business on 1/35 scale figures. If you can do it, you know, all good for you. You can do it. I don't think it's necessary to go to that degree on that scale of figure with the eyes. All you got to do is put a little dash down it, narrow the eye, and it looks fine. It looks fine. I mean, I don't know whether you'll be able to. I probably can't see that. I don't know whether you can do it that way. No, that won't show you either. I've got to get a light box. That's one thing I've got to get, a light box. Can you see it? Yeah, it needs lighting from the front then, doesn't it? But that's, you can't really see it, but that's just slash and dash. That's all it is. And it looks absolutely wonderful. It looks fine. Yeah. But if you can do it, if you can do the eye with colour and black dot, good on you. I certainly couldn't. What was that comment? Yes, you're right. You're right. As soon as the eyes are painted, the figure starts coming alive. You're right. It is like a trick of the brain. So we will now narrow down these eyes with a bit of this German Sea Brown and flesh base. What we will also do is we will put some of the same colour under here, behind the ears, and a little bit probably in the ear, and also a little bit down here, here, and possibly a little bit here, because in my case, yeah, you would need it because I've got a bloody great divot here, look. So that's where we want to add this colour. Right, give me a bit of water here. Let's water this a bit. Right, so let's narrow this top and bottom. No rush. Take your time. No rush. trying to get them even as well, so you don't want one sort of bigger than the other. Yeah, starting, you're right, Frank, starting to come alive. Just narrow that. Just yeah, you can't really, I know you're not really going to be able to see that. You probably can't see that, but that's turned out quite well. That's turned out quite well. Wish I could show you this actually, because it's worked. It's worked quite nicely. So what we'll do now, there you go, even better. We'll take the same color and we'll do that bit under the nose, under the chin, middle of the forehead. I might add a bit here. Certainly add a bit behind the ears and under the chin, under the jawline. Add a bit of shadow to it, see? It's all highs and lows. This Penny face is all sort of peaks and valleys, if you like. Right, get a bit behind the ear. Get a bit behind the ear, a little bit in the ear. And a bit more under the jaw, I think. Yeah. Right, same on the other side. A little bit under the jaw. Under the chin. And a little bit in the ear and behind the ear. What's that, 1 o'clock? Oh, I can't see a clock here. I've got to get a clock for the workbench. That's the thing I've got to get. There you go. There you go. Starting to look like a real person. Shame you can't really see it. I'll put a picture up when I've finished the face. I'll put a picture up later so you can see what the face looks like. We're starting to look like a real person, which is great. What we will now do, how long have I been going at this? An hour and 30 minutes. That's getting sidetracked with Edie Falk Menace. trick of the light when you're using a true light bulb. I like these true light bulbs, these natural daylight bulbs. They're really good. They're really good. I've got spares here. I always keep spares here. For this illuminated magnifier, they're not cheap to buy the replacement round bulb, but saves me a lot of aggravation. I couldn't work without it now. This. I couldn't work without it. Right, so next job, we do the face. We'll start doing the high points now. Up here, here, all this business. Point of the chin stuff. And I will use Medium Flesh Tone by Vallejo, 860. Medium Flesh Tone. We'll also run some of this over the high point of the ears, top of the ears and stuff. Yeah, good. Really starting to look like a human being now, which is great. I never understood Vallejo's thinking here when you have medium flesh tone and you have dark flesh tone, and dark flesh tone is lighter than the medium flesh tone. How do they work that out? Right, let's get a bit of water here on this. Let's get a bit of water on this and we'll start adding the highlights. It's the highlight of the day, folks. And you just start doing the high parts of the face. Yeah. Anybody doing anything nice this weekend? What are you all up to? You haven't told me what you're up to this weekend, you people. What are you all doing? I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow. Today I might go for a little walk later, because somebody tipped me off yesterday where there is a load of wild strawberries. So I'm going to investigate that, I think, later. That'll be interesting to see. I do like wild strawberries, I have to say. Excuse me for going quiet on you for a second. I'm just concentrating on what I'm doing. Right, I'll probably go a bit up there as well, because the forehead's quite a bit of light, doesn't it? So we'll dodge a bit up here. Yeah, starting to look like a real human being. Yeah, a bit concerning about this nuclear power station in Ukraine. Doesn't look good at all. Doesn't look good at all. You get a nuclear leak from that, who knows where it's going to go. It's very concerning. I just hope if there's a leak, I hope the wind's not blowing my way. Because it's not clever. Not clever at all. Right, let's go with some dog flesh. Which is actually lighter than the medium flesh tone. So I think Vallejo need to do something about their labelling. Doing the rest of my washing. So on the diorama, waiting for the neighbours to kill my nerves. Was that? Waiting for the neighbours to kill my nerves and getting fit for next night shift. Waiting for the worms to come. You got worms, have you? Somebody got, one of my subscribers got worms. Ever have them as a kid? Did you have worms? You had pink medicine to get rid of them. You ever remember that? Happy days. Because all kids play in the dirt and stuff. So, yeah, happy days. Right, so the areas that you've just lightened. Pink Floyd, The Wall. I remember that. That's going back a bit, isn't it? Pink Floyd. Never really into them when I was younger, Pink Floyd. Never really my type of thing, Pink Floyd. I know they were very, very popular. Very popular indeed when I was at school. Late 70s. Yeah. But never really my thing, Pink Floyd. I don't mind The Who. I don't mind listening to a bit of The Who and stuff. But it's horses for courses. It's whatever you like, isn't it? A bit there on his ear. Put a bit there on his ear. Yeah, I suppose it's time I haven't had some lunch, I suppose. Yeah, time for a bit of lunch, I guess. I get a bit hungry now. Anybody got anything nice for lunch? What are you having for lunch, you people? What are you having for lunch, you people? Right. Yeah, what I will do is just put a little bit of this here. Just put a little bit on his lip here. Just put a little bit on his lip. Ouch, sugar. Just pasta, anger, noodles, and tomatoes, onions, and garlic. That sounds nice. All round to your house, then. Yeah, I don't mind pasta. Trouble is, I have to be careful what I eat now. Being celiac, I have to be dead careful what I eat now. But I quite like pasta. It goes cold quick, doesn't it, pasta? That's the problem with it. Which is a bit of a nuisance. With this job, you can always adjust stuff as you go. Go back to a previous colour and alter things. Right, let's have a bit of that dark colour, mate. Let's just have a bit of that dark colour. A bit there. Your face always goes in a bit there, doesn't it? So I'll put a bit of a darker tone there that we use for the eye sockets. We'll put a bit there. Richard Burton, that was another good actor. We were talking about actors earlier. Richard Burton, that's another good actor. Trouble was with Richard Burton, he drank too much, which is a great shame. Yeah, starting to look like a real human being now, which is good. I like it. Sounds like somebody's outside my door. Why they're outside my door, I can't say. Let's just do a bit more of that there. You're starting to look like a real human being now. Which is good. Which is good. Well, for me, and the monkey, 1984, his last role, Who Framed Virginia Woolf, had the Medusa horror. Yeah, good guy, Richard Burton. Just drank too much, which was a great shame. But how many of these great people, be it actors, playwrights, musicians, whatever, they all have a sort of darker side to them, which is yeah, price you pay for being great, I suppose. I'm going to finish that face after luncheon. Put the lid on my wet palette. Oh, no, we're crooked. You're crooked, Ely. Huh? Don't keep saying what. I told you before. We're all crooked. Ah, I'm sorry. It's not your fault we're crooked. Do you want to go for lunch? Yeah. I'll take that. Well, for lunch, I don't know. Whatever's in the cupboard. Thanks for the chat. Enjoyed the ventriloquism. Thank you very much. It's not really that difficult to do, ventriloquism, once you get your head around the mechanics, as I was saying earlier. It's really quite straightforward, isn't it? Ah, ventriloquism. Yeah. Can you say that? Hi. Ventriloquism. Ventriloquism. Oh, that's not a bad effort. Yeah. You want to say your alphabet quickly before you go to impress everybody? Oh, okay. Yes, lunch is an excellent idea. Have a nice weekend, Karen. Yes, have a nice weekend, Frank. Nice to have seen you. Enjoy the nice weather. It's lovely out. Well, here anyway. I don't know what it's like in Holland, but here it's nice. So do you want to quickly, before we go and have lunch, just say your alphabet quickly, just to impress everybody? Yeah. Sure, it's fine and great to see you back on my screen again. Something in German which I can't pronounce. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now say my alphabet for you. A, D, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Fantastic. Yeah. You see, I'm not just a pretty face. No, you're not here. No. And you're really quite intelligent. You are indeed, aren't you? Yeah. Hey, what? Listen to this. What? Un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. Have a nice weekend. See you next week, hopefully all being well. Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very clever. Yeah. So you want to just say goodbye before we go? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Thanks very much for watching. Hope you had a nice time and enjoyed it. We'll see you hopefully next week. Have a nice time and enjoy the nice weather. Goodbye. There you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody that subscribed. We've got some new subscribers, so thanks very much. We will see you hopefully, God willing, next weekend. Bye.